Hey, what's up? John Sonmez here, and today we are going to be talking about something that I talked about on a live stream, but someone actually made the perfect comment that describes what I'm talking about here. And I think it's a really important concept in life. I was just talking to like several people about this last weekend. I was in Vegas for my reunion, my high school reunion. And the subject came up, so I thought, it's a good time to make a video about this. So I did this on the live stream it was Joseph Pinson's Insane Transformation interview, and I live streamed that. And someone said, Derek Parsi said, Stockholm Syndrome versus things you hate, LOL. So that was a good way of describing it. So what I was talking about in this interview, and I've talked about this concept a few times, is this idea that I have a philosophy in life that you should do one thing you hate every day. And that if you hate something, you should do more of it, right? So, for instance, I used to hate running. I still have like a love-hate relationship with it, but I started running like a fucking madman. I started doing, you can see here, I've done a bunch of half marathons and a full marathon. And stuff that I never thought I'd be able to do, right? I never thought I'd run a full marathon. That's like ridiculous. 26.2 miles, 4.5 hours of running basically for me. And I did it last year. And the thing is, like, I hated running so much when I was running like 3 miles, 3 times a week. But I started upping it. I run about 40 miles a week now. And I actually enjoy it, right? It doesn't mean that I always enjoy it, but it made me grow a lot stronger, okay? And it's just one of those things that I find there's a huge value in looking for things that you hate and doing a whole shitload of them, right? And then there's almost this Stockholm Syndrome effect. There's this concept called Stockholm Syndrome, and what it basically is like, so say someone gets kidnapped, right? What will happen eventually is that they have a high propensity of actually liking their kidnapper, liking the person who is locking them up, who's kidnapped them. This has happened multiple times. The best way to hate someone, the only way to hate someone, is to dehumanize them, to not see them as a human being, not see them as a person like we are, right? And so you see this as a political strategy for a lot of people. But the opposite of that is to humanize, which is when you spend a lot of time with someone, you're gonna like them. That's not really the subject of this, but this whole idea of applying this concept to things you hate. So you pick something that you really, really hate, and you do enough of it, you'll love it. I've done this with multiple things, and again, it doesn't mean that you're going to continue doing this thing forever, but you're going to grow in that experience, and it's a good way to build your character. It's also a good way to like do something that you want to do that you don't like doing, and to actually develop a passion or to develop some kind of love for doing that. I hated writing. I was a shitty writer. I didn't like writing. So what did I do? I wrote 2 big fucking books, right? I've got Complete Software Developer's Career Guide and Soft Skills. And before that, I was writing blog posts, right? So I forced myself to write every single day. I actually forced myself to write until I got good at it and actually started to enjoy the writing, and that was a huge benefit for me. There's a ton of things like that. Social interaction. As a kid, I was extremely shy, right? Like way more shy, more introverted than most people. So what I started doing was I just started going out and talking to people. Especially, I remember, being a young guy, like going out and talking to girls at the mall is what I did. Like I did 50 in one day in order to really like desensitize myself to it. And that was like, I hated it. It's horrible. It was just the most horrible experience possible. But then I got to the point where it actually like energized me, and I was actually getting good at it, and I was feeling good about doing these things, and I started to actually become that kind of person that was able to become social, right? The whole idea behind this concept, the Stockholm Syndrome via things that you hate, is that you take things that you hate that are good for you, and instead of you just taking a little bit of that medicine at a time. But when I started really like amping it up, when I said, okay, if I hate something, I'm going to do more and more of it until I love it, then I started to actually fall in love with these things and actually feel like I wanted to do these things. And so now I've got this benefit. And then the other side of it, again, is just based on the concept of doing something that you hate every day, is that you become more tolerant. You become able to withstand and sustain yourself through pain and suffering, to be able to go through the kind of shit that you need to go through in life, because you're training yourself for this, right? You're doing stuff that you hate on purpose in order to make yourself stronger, so that you're basically exercising your will. You want to be the driver driving your life. And so again, That's why you do this kind of shit. Not just because you're a glutton for punishment or pain or because it's fun to do shit that you hate, although it is kind of fun to do shit that you hate sometimes, but because it's going to make you stronger and it's going to make your will stronger and it's going to give you that ability to push through things and teaches you that. So real good, just I think principle to live your life by. It's benefited me a huge amount. I'm able to do shit that I don't want to do because I forced myself to do it for such a long time, and I'm able to actually, exceed my pain threshold to the point where what ends up happening is that I actually start liking some of these things in some kind of masochistic way, I suppose. No, I'm joking, but I think you get the point. All right, that's all I got for you today. If you haven't already, make sure you click the subscribe button down below. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.